continue to see, you know, flaw after flaw, so it's nice to hear that, definitely. You know, it's not an easy thing to ask me how long, you know, why did it take me so long to direct. You know, it's not an easy thing to just assume this role, you know, to have the confidence to do it, to find the right material. It was a long period of my life where I was also chasing after sort of, you know, it's funny being an actor, you know, you struggle and you struggle and you struggle and you audition and you audition, and it's all about this kind of rabid chase after opportunities. And then if you're very lucky, you get them. And then you get one after another, and so it's like a starving man who finally reaches a dinner table full of food. You know, you just want to eat as much as you can. So it took me a minute to sort of calm down and also pursue this other thing that I very deeply wanted to do. If I can't read the notes, what's the point? You know what I mean? I'll skip to George. George Clooney is a producer on the movie and also a resident of Your Great Country. And a very great guy. And one of the things that is very helpful about having both George and Grant Heslop as his partner as producers is that you have filmmakers who are producers. These are both guys who have not just made films, but made very, very good films. And so, you know, you really feel protected, and you have a sense that, you know, that they have your best interest at heart, and that they're looking out for you from the vantage point of understanding what you might be going through, rather than, you know, just saying, you gotta hurry up, you're over budget, that kind of thing. George does make political films, or I guess, I don't even know if he would define them as political films. I guess you'd have to ask him. He has made films that have been political. I guess Ides of March is definitely a political film. And he's very smart about it. He's extremely smart about Hollywood. He's extremely smart, I think, about politics. Even if one doesn't agree with his positions, I think one has to accept that he's quite a sharp guy about this stuff. And yeah, it's been a pleasure just working with him and absorbing things from him and having conversations with him and getting to enjoy his worldview. If any of you are thinking about working with George, I highly recommend it. Thank you very much. I don't want to come to this press conference and say that Hollywood is full of only lazy people who lie because it makes it very hard for me to go home. But I do think, I mean, those words are in the mouth of a character who's kind of a wonderfully hyperbolic, you know, overstating guy. So he's kind of being funny when he says that. But like all humor, or in all humor, there's a little undercurrent of truth. Hollywood is a place where everybody's trying to get ahead all the time and trying to get advantage, and oftentimes, like Washington, you know, they're always putting spin on things. You know, movies never bomb; they underperform. It's just a way of a product, I think, of the competition there. In fact, there's so many people that want to be part of it, and that people are sort of artistic, so that they're used to taking artistic liberties. But it is actually a place where I have many really good friends and who don't know how to people every day. So I wouldn't say it's all really like that entirely. But I do like that that's Alan Arkin's character's take on Hollywood. I thought it was quite fitting. And John Goodman's character also has a similar sort of cynicism about Hollywood. And what I like about him is that he represents something that you really don't see in movies, particularly Hollywood satire, is the sort of blue-collar side of Hollywood. And most people who work there, you know, are kind of metaphorically carrying their lunch to work. You know, they're electricians, or they're grips, or they're makeup artists, or they're, you know, they're people that don't get paid a lot of money and that often go to work and have to listen to, you know, lectured by pompous directors. Turkey, and you know, I would have loved to have filmed in Iran, but politically that wasn't practical. It wasn't even practical for me to visit that country to do research, which really bothered me because as a director, it just feels wrong to be making a film about a country that you haven't even visited. I mean, it's kind of it's like an astonishingly bad approach just on the surface. But you know, I tried to make up for it by doing as much research as I possibly could. Unfortunately, there's photographs and video and that sort of thing, and also you know, incorporating a lot of Iranians into our production, into our research process, including, you know, some wonderful Iranian filmmakers, and that was really educational for me, and then I felt like, okay, I understand this place a little better. I didn't have any outrageous proposals from people from Turkey. Actually, the people in Turkey, the thing that was kind of heartbreaking is I went to Turkey in part because I hoped to have some Iranians who spoke Farsi, because that kind of authenticity I needed, and I was planning on having Farsi and improvising Farsi and not having subtitles and that sort of thing. And I mean, virtually nobody who spoke Farsi and was from Iran was willing to be in the movie, because they were afraid that by being in an American movie they would open their family up to reprisals. And that really brought home the seriousness of the subject matter to me, that that was not fiction. That was people who were living under a sort of, I don't know what you'd say, Stalinist kind of regime back in Iran, and having to deal with how difficult that was. I did meet Tony Mendez. Tony Mendez was a part of the writing process, the development process. It was based on a chapter in his book, as well as an article. Tony was extremely forthcoming. He also helped us with the CIA and made introductions, and he made it possible for us to film with the CIA. He's a lovely, kind, very quiet man, and he had a cameo in the movie at the airport. Him and his entire family and everyone he knows marches by me going into the airport, and he came to the premiere, and he was very, he either liked the movie or he was very polite, but he nice to hear kind words. Yes, I suppose there are a few rhesus monkeys running around Hollywood. I mean, I may be one of them. If you were a rhesus monkey, you probably wouldn't even know it. The thing about that scene that I find quite charming is, again, the John Goodman sort of way that he kind of rolls his eyes at his bosses. The way that everybody has a boss who they may not like. And he gives us this sense that he thinks there's a little bit of absurdity in the sort of the environment that's going on there, and some of the directors that he has to work with. I think it's interesting because it's hard to know what kind of it's hard to know if a movie's going to work based on the environment of the set or the way that the person comes across. So sometimes it can seem like you're working with a director and like, this is our fearless leader, and then the movie turns out well. So that's sort of, I think, what that's touching on. Is there a genre that I would, no, I don't look for genres in particular. I look for stories and characters and things that kind of interest me, themes that are resonant with me. I don't know if there's a genre I wouldn't do. I think I would leave myself open to any genre, really, if the story was good and I was working with talented people. Maybe not some extreme genres, but for the most part, it's just about story for me.